Ben Howard,
Danny,
Arsenal fan
yes.
of my own heart. You've even got your signed ball here.
Yes,
and your
Olivier Giroud. He comes everywhere with me at all times.
We've got a big weekend coming up, but I feel like you can't be an Arsenal fan without having some sort of appreciation of ladies football. I know they show a bunch of the prolific women's Arsenal team on Arsenal TV. Of course, the World Cup a couple of years ago, USA versus Japan, got like record figures, 13.5 million people tuned into that.
She'll go for goal! Off the underside of the bar.
We're definitely living in the States as well. I feel like here, I mean, certainly I think for a lot of people in this country, the route into soccer has been through the women's team, the national team. And obviously at college level, it's played to a very high standard by a lot of women. So I think it's obviously about time that they've got to this place.
So FIFA have, I've played a lot of football games or soccer games in America over my lifetime, and I believe this is the first time we're ever going to have women's football in a video game.
Not only that, I was trying to think of another time where a big sports franchise has introduced men's and women's teams. I actually can't think of one. I mean, there may be an example, but
the only thing I think of is maybe perhaps tennis,
right?
But not in terms of sports stuff. So FIFA 16, it's going to have a bunch of, it's not the type of roster we are used to in terms of the men's stuff, but you've seen it, you've played it. What are we looking at in terms of women's
so I mean, as well as the traditional roster, so all of those international men's club teams, international teams. This year for FIFA 16, they're introducing women's international teams.
Okay.
12 in total. I mean, it's not tied to the World Cup, which is happening this summer, but it's obviously going to represent those biggest teams. At the event I went to, we got to play only USA and Germany, and it feels definitely different, you know.
Because women's football does have a different pace to it. There seems to be a lot more running and a lot.
There's a lot less diving.
Yeah, that's true. A lot less diving.
There's definitely a different feel to the women's game, and it's not just skins. What they've done with the women's teams is really adjust that overall kind of stat to the type of stats you see on women players. So faster, more agile, and definitely like the movement on the women's players felt different to me.
Have they done stuff in terms of motion capture, like models? How's that stuff? Hair.
Well, obviously,
really?
So obviously, you're putting women's team in the game. One of the biggest thing you got to do is hair. A lot of the women in the team have longer hair, and obviously you do have men's team with long hair, but
not as much as it was in the 90s.
No, that's true. Well, on the women's teams, you've got a lot of like top knots and ponytails, and so there's animation on the hair. I mean, generally the animations on the players, the likenesses are really realistic. I mean, the US national team obviously has some fairly recognizable faces. It looked and felt, it didn't feel like a throw-in, it looked like they'd actually gone to a lot of effort to really represent the women's game in the right way.
So they're going to have 12 teams of international players. They've got new motion capture, new hair, all that stuff. Last question, can you play against dudes?
No, you can't.
Okay.
So, much like the official game, and not like a kickabout down the park, at the moment you can't obviously mix and match male and females in the same teams, or a men's team against a women's team. I don't know what they haven't talked about yet, and this will be really interesting to see, is what happens with Ultimate Team over time.
Yes.
You know, can you start to build, obviously Ultimate Team, you've got not only current players, but on the Xbox version, you've got legends, right? So you can throw in, Beckham and Bergkamp and all of these players with current players. I'm wondering I think there's a real potential there to throw in women's players.
Yeah, get Hope Solo in there.
Hope Solo,
even if she's not able to play the World Cup.
I mean, if you're gonna have players like Pele from the past in FIFA Ultimate Team, why not have? At this point, it's the ultimate fantasy football, right? So why not throw women players into that?